then you aren't you. We're kind of having this conversation. Are you good with the real you, your authentic self? And that's true love. It's loving that. And if you're single, you better love yourself. And if you're married, you better love yourself. Because if you're depending on others to affirm love within you, you're missing out. Christ is the only one, God is the only way to give you love. He is love. The word of God tells us that He is love. And He gives you that fullness within your heart, within your mind, your body, your spirit, that you can be your best self. Sometimes we as women equate sex and love, but your biggest sex organ isn't here or here. It's here. This is your biggest sex organ, your brain. So what do you think about when you think about love? So just encouraging you there.
No, that was good. That was good. Dr. Richmond, you wanted to cap that?
Yes.
Yes.
The other part of loving yourself is getting your physical, getting your breast examination, your mammogram, your ultrasound, getting your pap smear. So with that being said, I just wanted to let you all know I am giving away 3 physicals. If you have not had your physical and you need to have it, maybe you don't have insurance right now, maybe you're an entrepreneur, something has been holding you back from getting your physical, check out my nurse practitioner, Latrice, and let her know that I'm giving away a physical. Only 3, so the first 3 people that go, and that'll include your 5 important labs, your lipids, your cholesterol, diabetes, check your blood pressure, and all that. But my point is, another way of loving yourself is going to see your doctor or your nurse practitioner or your provider.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, okay, you know what? And so I'm actually going to position Shoshella to launch us with this next question. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. How courageous are you? Listen closely. Would you jump off of a cliff into the ocean? Learn to fly a helicopter? Ride in a hot air balloon above changing terrain? Skydive with friends? Or study an advanced degree in another country? What's your choice?
Well, I actually have studied an advanced degree in a foreign country. I lived in Denmark for 6 months. I was in graduate school and I studied the privatization of home health services in Scandinavia.
Snap, snap. Because how many of you all have done that?
No, that's the power in this room. Encourage your sister to your right and to your left. I did it, you can do it too. So I think that's exciting. And most of the encouragement that comes from that, though, is just lifting off that veil. I remember when I wanted to do that was my second study abroad, actually. The first time, my father said, "Why would you do that?" To your point. And he said, well, I was very committed to my parents and their guidance, and nobody really put up a wall, but he didn't support and fund. I was looking for money, right? I needed somebody to fund that dream, and my parents weren't doing that at the time. I'm taking you way back in my life, but the point that I'm making is, I looked around me and I still said, what do I need to do to make this a reality? So I started looking for my own money, making my own money, in a sense, so I could fund that dream. So the courage come from the actual event itself, but knowing that I could do that event was the courage that I want to leave you with today.
Harnessing the courage. Did y'all hear that? Fund your dream. Dream, if you're dreaming, you're being endowed with vision, find the funds. Okay, Patrice, what are you gonna do? Are we jumping off of a cliff, learning to fly a helicopter, in a hot air balloon above changing terrain? Are you choosing to launch into a new career or think differently about your education in another country? What are you doing?
Well, if you'd asked me that question a few years back, I probably would say none. But through this path I'm taking and evaluating, just to kind of take a quick step back, I was the quintessential middle child. I did just do everything everybody said. I didn't want to be in trouble. I didn't want to make waves. That really wasn't my thing. However, now I would say I probably do all the above. This maybe like last year, I jumped off the cliff in Jamaica.
Yes. How many of you all have jumped from Nick's Cafe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, both cliffs
too.
I did off at Brick's Cafe. But with that being stated, that's really my aspect of pushing myself outside of the comfort zone. recognizing and knowing my strengths. As Pastor Mia had made that comment initially early, started reevaluating myself, just looking at things from different scopes and standpoints. Life is such a journey, it's such a marathon. Don't always just run that standard path. So I think I would do it all.
I love it. Courage is a big deal. Lizzie, we know you're courageous, girl, but which one? We want to know. We're psychoanalyzing you. We just want you to know that.
I fly in a helicopter every 14 days, right? To have the job that I had to jump off of a diving board that's taller than this building into a big pool, all right? So where I work, I'm in over 6,000 feet of water, which is a little over a mile down, right? So if I have to jump, right? So I think courage is there. But I think the next step is, when I told you all, I'm the only one that does what I do. And actually, out of 100 site managers, I am the only one female. So when you think about courage, one of the things that they ask is, would you like to do what you do in another country? As hard as it is to do that, to do what we do as females, African Americans here in the US, can you imagine doing that in another country? So right now I'm thinking about how courageous I want to be. And I started this with saying I would never say no anymore, right? So when that question comes, what do you think I'm going to say?
Yes. An affirmative yes. Yes, ma'am. That's good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We're wrapping up. We have 2 questions left, and I think these are really important for us as we think about where we are. And I truly pray that you all are listening with the intent to find your yes and your no and your why and your how as we talk about this. We're having fun, but this is real life. And you all, just like the panelists, have experienced on so many different levels, and I just want you to be able to see yourself in them. So this is my next question. I'm going to start with Pastor Mia. What's next for you? How are you positioning yourself and preparing for your next move? And how exactly do you know that that's really your next move?
I like that. What's next for me is that I am currently enrolled. I started this past summer at the University of Southern California in a doctoral program for organizational change and leadership. And so I'm going to say, how did I know that was kind of putting in hindsight? How did I know that was the right thing for me? Was that I started to look back at my history and I said, my undergrad's in biological studies and human biology, anatomy, and my master's is in theology. That's body and then that's spirit. And so my next move was, how do we deal with that trichotomy of our human being, and that is mind, body, and spirit. And I was missing the mind. And so I decided to look into programs, and I was really fortunate to come across this program at USC because it's an EDD program. It's a PhD seeks to understand the world, the EDD seeks to change the world. And that was in alignment with everything that I have done, in alignment with what I feel my passion and my calling is, in alignment to what I feel like God is directing me and moving me towards. What will I do with the degree? I will use it to the best of my ability to change my world. And so not just independently, but to look for opportunities to being able to share the learning that I gain and I gather and incorporate that into all the other learnings that have kind of moved along the journey and the pathway of my life, to see how I can bring this all together to make truly life-impacting changes for others and inspire them to make those changes for their own lives as well. So it's something new.
That's a big move.
Yeah.
That's a bold move.
To be this age and going back to school, hey, come on, you're never too old to learn.
Major. Diane, I'm going to toss that same question to you. How do you, and we want to know how you know it's the move, though. Like, it's the move, but how do you know?
I'm going to start by saying, that's one question I have dreaded my entire life. Because all powerful women sitting here and you out there with you have 5-year plans, you know what you're going to do next. not me. So, but what I know for sure is that I will be ready. I am fearless. I will take on any challenge. And everything I've done, I believe, is the trend for the next step. It prepares me for what's coming next. So I don't spend time wondering what next. I do what I'm doing now, knowing that life in itself is preparing me for what's next. So I know I'll be ready. And I'm ready to do whatever is next.
Good. That's good. Serve us. Serve your people. Yes, that was amazing. No, that was amazing. That was powerful. And I really want you guys to digest. I'm a teacher. Did y'all get that? All right. Shoshella, let's talk about this. This is the last and final question, and thank you all so far. Like, can we get like a little preview of how the ending applause will be? What? So you're successful. You achieved. And the question that I have for you is, now that you've done that in so many ways, what are you doing to reach back to help those that are behind you?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to put that book in on my earlier statement. I'm the chairperson of the Women in Leadership Affinity Group at Centerpoint Energy. And what we do is not only influencing the women who work for the company, but I make it part of our mission and our vision to touch the communities that we serve also. So during my chairmanship, I have a strategy and an approach called a pipeline to purposeful leadership. Literally, we mentor young women through the Girls Empowerment Network, and that's elementary school, because our focus is such that, to the earlier question, why do you do what you do and why do you want to get what you can do, is because there aren't many women who look like me in technology at this level. So I need other little girls. The world is changing. If your kid isn't involved in some STEM, don't let them get left behind, because 10 years, 20 years from now, they will need that exposure. I need her to see right now that she can do it too. So building that pipeline starts with elementary school girls, just having them be engaged with technology, engineering, math, and the arts too, but a whole person. The culture, the soft, the tangibles, and the intangibles. So we start with the Girls Empowerment Network, and then we also mentor to co-ops and internships. We have a relationship with a nonprofit called Genesis Works in the Houston area, so we fund that program and we select those young ladies. The one woman who interned with us decided to get an engineering degree. We helped her with that because she didn't see that in her future. She just had an internship. From elementary school to the middle school, high school women, then we look at women in transition. So there are a lot of women who look good, we smell good, we got our booze. We may not have our booze, but there's something that's just not right in terms of our career path, or something's missing. We might not even have the right suit to wear to an interview. So we fund and support Dress for Success, those women who are in transition. And then we complete our pipeline with activities for women who are actually in the workplace, with networking, not just with people who sit next to you on your level, but to network with the executives above you too. So that's how I'm doing that. We do that internally and in the community.
And that's huge. And I heard full cycle.
Absolutely.
That was like a full cycle. It's coming to you, and it's going to Dr. Taria after. No, please. What are you doing to bring them forward?
You know, this is a big deal for me. You know, young people. I love young people because they have so much potential. So for me is making myself available. Always being there, no matter what I'm doing, I will stop for the youth. I may not stop for those who I think, you know what, you just missed that bus. But for the youth, I will stop because I know you are the future. I know the youth is the future, so I'm there and I listen. I listen and I mentor. I open the doors that they don't know how to open. I make introductions that they don't know they need. I make sure they understand while knowledge is important, relationships are critical. Because what you have to know is the decisions that will be made about you will be made when you are not in the room. So all that you didn't say before that door closed, it may be too late. So you need someone in the room who will bring your name up and put it on the table for an opportunity, and someone who will advocate for you or speak up when someone is tarnishing your good name.
Yeah.
So building relationships is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is critical, but relationships
where, especially if you're in the corporate world, you cannot fail to be a relationship. Think someone's gonna tap you on the shoulder just because you're smart. Everyone in this room is smart. We're all smart, but you need people who will advocate for you and give you a chance.
Thank you for dropping that huge gem on us. No, that was big. That's massive. So ladies, get your last gem and nugget in mind. I'm gonna ask Dr. Taria the same question about pulling those that are behind, but I want you all to be ready. Everybody ready? All right.
One of the things that I do and I pride myself in doing is so social media is where it's at, and if you're trying to reach the youth, I mean, some of them you may, if you're out in the community, or they may, tour your facility, but you have to be present in social media. You have to be transparent in social media, and that lets them know that they can do it too. I personally, because when I was in pre-med, if a doctor had gave me their cell phone number, my whole, I think, trajectory would have been totally different, and it was the way it was supposed to be. However, I would give you my cell phone number. Call Dr. Richmond, let's talk about it, because what you think you may not be able to do, or who you think you may not know, I'm gonna get you hooked up. Like, that's what I do, and I keep it 100, because if you don't, they're not gonna receive it. You can keep talking, they're not gonna receive it. And so my point is, be transparent and be open, and show that you truly are trying to mentor, that you truly are trying to help. Personally, I feel like some women sometimes, I'm gonna just tell the truth, are not approachable. They're in these high places, and they say that they're approachable, but sometimes in these circles, no, you're not. So my point is, be approachable. If you see a young person, go up to them and say hi. What's your Instagram? I mean, it is what it is. And so we need to, if we're going to mentor and bring others along with us and up with us, we gotta go to where the people are.
That's good. Thank you for that. And it's so important that we don't forget someone's watching you. And they're looking for their next move. They're looking for hope. They're looking for opportunity. I say they want to know it's possible. If I know it's possible, then I know it's possible. And that's a big deal. Okay, so we're going to start with Patrice. This is her golden gem. So they're about to give you your quotables. So if you need to hashtag it, make sure you get their name, spell it right, and tag them on LinkedIn, because these are professional women. They might not be on the gram right now. You tag their quotable on LinkedIn, and you can connect properly.
Okay, I guess from my standpoint, I just want to end on the note, and I know I'm going to deviate just a tad,
Just a little bit.
So as we're talking about what we plan to leave to the next generation, and I'll just be quite frank and honest with that, I'm concerned. So from my standpoint, I have, I have 2 grownish kids. I have one that's still in college. I'm seeing a trend of our children going to college, but not coming out with jobs, not coming out with opportunities. And at this end of the day, I do think this particular generation is very special in the sense that they watched us, and they don't want to just go to work. And they're not moved by just, oh, you can go and make all this money. They want to do what they're passionate about. But the scary thing about those items is that it's sometimes easy to run into fool's gold, right? And what they're getting caught up with is these schemes and different items that are showing up on social media and things of that sort that just not going to give them a sense of longevity from that perspective. So particularly as I continue to march forward, focusing on opportunities to assist our young women, assist our next generation from that perspective, piggybacking on a lot of stuff that you were mentioning, really I do believe, and this is my quotable item, is that we actually have a responsibility to go reach back. You turn around and take a look at our kids, take a look and see where they're headed. Because at the end of the day, if they're not going to be sustainable enough to take care of themselves, what's going to happen to us? So that's what I would leave you guys with.
And that was great. Thank you for that. Thank you.
And I've said a lot already, Kyra, so my quotable is, why not me?
I like that.
That's good. Why not me? Did y'all get that?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to just say this. I was sitting at Nettie Jones's table earlier, and she said, you better get to know her. You know her? You You better take the time to get to know her. You're answering the why not me, and then when I go reach back, you need to know what you're going to reach back for, because everybody's not for you and you're not for everyone. So you need to know you well enough to know whose hand you need to grab or who you need to extend in the direction of. Yep. So I love that.
I was blessed last year to write a book, and in the premise of the book is really to encourage you to do something that is not within your ordinary power, something that you have not always done or something you've not always depended on others to do. And so I'll just use a tagline from that. It's unthinkable. Do what is unordinary to experience your extraordinary.
Love that.
Okay, you guys are human, right? What am I supposed to be answering again?
This is your gem to drop. What is that thing you want us to walk away from this experience with having heard from you? Like, give us that thing.
Wow. That's a tough one. Really, that's it. It is yes. You know, I got lost in the stories about, you know, what do you want from the next generation? What do you want to do with them? And I looked out in the crowds, and you know, I speak to over 300 people every day. But the 300 people that I speak to don't look like you. Don't look like me. There's only 3 individuals that look like me, and we're spread out. And one asked, that individual I told you guys that asked me about that sponsor, he says, where can I get more people that look like you? And I think that's the reason why I'm here today.
All right.
Because there's a lot of individuals out there that look like me.
Yes. All right.
And I want to make sure that I give you guys the opportunity that I was given. Because I don't want you to do what I have to do, where you always look out in the crowd and there isn't anybody that looks like me. All right?
I can literally feel your energy right now.
Yeah.
And I want you to know, she got emotional.
Yeah.
I could feel that.
Yeah.
I literally could feel the transfer.
Yeah.
That's major. From her heart to yours.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I didn't tell you all earlier, I am the only African-American executive vice president of Amateur Bank. And it's my role, it's what I do. And I tell you that because what I want to leave with you is always be authentically who you are. Yes. Be fearless. Take the risk. No one can tell you what you can and cannot do. It's all on you. Do that. Whatever that is, do that.
How many of you all saw Harriet? She said, oh, well, I'm going to just tell you what she said. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Yes, yes.
A little more undignified than that, but she meant that from her soul. I love that. You remember that scene? Don't you tell me what I can't do. I love it. Doctor?
So what I would say is, to piggyback off of what Ms. Diane said about being authentic, because if you've ever been to my practice or you come in and see me, you're gonna get me, okay? It's like you coming into my living room, but we're gonna take care of some business, and then we can sum it up and catch up later. And so, you know, people are like, oh, doctors don't wear leopard boots.
Yeah.
Well, this doctor does. So my first piece is, do you move?
Yes.
And the second one is, and this again is to piggyback off of what Ms. Diane said, and I think what some of the other ladies have said too, stay ready.
Yes.
People, stay ready,
Yes.
so you don't have to what?
Get ready.
Fantastic. Did you all not love this amazing panel today? Oh my goodness, ladies, you are phenomenal in your own right. We tip our crowns to you. We honor you for absolutely every single gem that you dropped and the fact that we know that we can catch you at HEB and you're gonna be walking this walk and talking this talk, and I don't in heels, Pastor, because I don't think I've ever seen you in flats. But I think it's so awesome to know that when they go back to their seats, just as real as they were on this stage, that's how you'll encounter them at their seats. So thank you all so much. Please give it up for our panel.
And give it up for our moderator.